Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Today, Health Management Associates, on behalf of California Department of Healthcare Services, will be presenting on the CARE Act data submission options, SurveyMonkey, MOVEit, and the data file templates. Our presenters today are two of our HMA data team members who hopefully you all have heard from the last couple months and have attended some of our other trainings. We have Cha Lee as well as Carice Burnett. Today's training objectives, by the end of the session, we're hoping that you'll be able to describe the two options for submitting monthly data for care participants, including SurveyMonkey and MOVEit. Be able to enter data in SurveyMonkey using embedded logic to ensure collection of required data based on the CARE Act statute. Be able to perform bulk file uploads of care participant data using the data file template options A and B, and the MOVEit file transfer application. And last, to be able to understand the quality assurance process for the CARE Act data. So for today's agenda, we are going to walk through a few items. First, we will do the CARE Act data submission mechanism overview. We'll have a few slides that will compare SurveyMonkey and MOVEit, as well as provide context prior to the live demo about the different data file options. We will then have a live demo of the SurveyMonkey platform and demonstrate directly within the platform how to navigate through that SurveyMonkey. Then we will follow with a live demo of the data file template options A and B, walk through those structures and the submission procedures using the MOVEit file transfer application. And then we will close with the quality assurance process. It's important to know what we'll be looking at once the data is received and how that quality assurance process will work. We are going to be using the chat feature today. So the chat feature is located in your meeting control bar, and the meeting chat window will open on the right-hand side of your Zoom screen. We will try to respond to questions live during the demonstrations as well as some of the slides, and we will have some time at the end for some Q&A. But we do encourage you to type in your questions as you have them, and we will, if we don't address them during today's call, we will get back to you. This presentation is being recorded, and the slide deck and the recording will be made available to the attendees of today's session. So with that, I'm going to pass it to our first presenter, Carice.
Thank you, Amanda. In this section, we want to give you an overview of the CARE Act data submission mechanism. Next slide, please. This slide outlines the reporting schedule. Counties are required to collect CARE Act data on a monthly basis and submit it within 60 days following the close of a reporting period. Reporting periods cover 3-month spans. Counties can submit their data monthly if preferred, or wait until the end of the reporting period to report on all 3 months in the quarter. The table on the right has the submission deadlines. Data from January 1st to March 31st is due May 30th. Data from April 1st to June 30th is due August 29th. Data from July 1st to September 30th is due November 29th. And data from October 1st to December 31st is due March 1st. Counties must adhere to this reporting and submission schedule regardless of implementation date. This means even if a county implements CARE in the middle of a reporting period, they are still required to submit their data by the submission deadline immediately following that period. Next slide, please. Before we talk about the data file options and submission procedure, we want to quickly show the workflow for CARE Act data submission. Counties will collect data on a monthly basis and submit at least quarterly within 60 days following the close of a reporting period. If counties are using SurveyMonkey, they will submit 1 survey per respondent and select the appropriate reporting month each time. If counties are using MOVEit for each reporting month, counties will enter data into a separate data file template. Every quarter, counties should submit 3 data files and save them in the correct quarterly folder. Counties will submit these monthly data files via MOVEit. After submitting the monthly data files, please notify the HMA Care Data Team by email at caredatateam@healthmanagement.com. HMA will do a quality assurance check with Cha and Carice which Cha and Chris will discuss later in this presentation. HMA's target is to send these QA reports within 45 business days and of county data submission. A QA report will be generated for each monthly data file and uploaded to MOVEit. Even counties that submit data via SurveyMonkey will receive their QA reports on MOVEit, so it's important for every county to have authorized MOVEit users. Every county will get 3 QA reports from HMA per submission, 1 for each reporting month in the quarter. The HMA team will notify the authorized users via email when their QA report is uploaded. This correspondence will come from the HMA Care Act Data Team, email caredatateam@healthmanagement.com. For monthly data files with the status of corrections needed, counties have 15 business days to correct the data issues and resubmit those monthly files via MOVEit file transfer application. Again, please notify the HMA data team or the data team that the resubmission files have been uploaded. We will discuss the process for resubmission in this session. The HMA data team then will restart the QA process summarized in the purple box again. For the monthly data files with the status of accepted, no further action will be required. Our HMA data team is happy to help with any data issues. Counties are encouraged to request technical assistance related to any request corrections by filling out the CARE Act data collection and reporting assistance form. Next slide, please. Now that we have covered data reporting responsibilities, let's cover how county behavioral health agencies will submit data. There are 2 options for submitting data, either SurveyMonkey or MOVEit. SurveyMonkey is a manual data entry tool option, whereas MOVEit can be used by counties that wish to automate their data entry. There are 2 data file template options available for bulk upload of care data. Data file template A includes every data point and is in its own column. Data file template B is designed to facilitate automated data pulls, while there are 2 options for data submission, every reporting quarter, counties can only choose one mechanism to submit data. For example, in January of 2024, if County A chooses to use SurveyMonkey, all data must be entered into SurveyMonkey manually for the entire quarter. Over the next few slides, we will go over how to submit data through SurveyMonkey, understand the structure of both MOVEit file template options A and B, and how to access the MOVEit file transfer application. Next slide, please. We will start with the SurveyMonkey platform. SurveyMonkey is a popular survey and data collection tool, so many of you have already heard of it or even used it in your work or personal life. SurveyMonkey is a cloud-based service selected to host the CARE Act data collection and reporting tool, or DCRT. The DCRT has logic built in, so it will only require the data points that are relevant to the client's care status. For those county behavioral health agencies that prefer manual data entry, they can utilize this option. Users can save and return 2 responses before submission. However, once the survey is submitted, users will not be able to make any changes until HMA provides their QA report. A full export of submitted data will be provided with the QA report. County BH will not automatically receive a copy of their submission from SurveyMonkey upon completion. Next slide, please. The second option for county behavioral health data submission uses a process where a data file template is uploaded to the MOVEit file transfer application. There are 2 data file options to choose from. Data file option A aligns directly with the structure of the CARE Act data dictionary. Data file option B allows users to query data from their existing data systems. Counties can use option A or B to transfer care data securely via MOVEit. MOVEit is an existing mechanism for the transfer of data used by DHCS. Counties can access the most current version of the data file templates in the resources folder within MOVEit. The history log of the data file template will indicate when the file was most recently updated. Counties should not use MOVEit for data storage, as all files uploaded via MOVEit are automatically deleted every 45 days. Next slide, please. Next, we will move into a demo of the SurveyMonkey platform. But before we do that, let's review at high level the collection flowchart. This flowchart shows how a key data point, 3.3.10, current care status, determines further data collection and reporting. The logic built into the SurveyMonkey platform and the structure of data file template options A and B are based on this flowchart. We will place a link to the data dictionary and the detailed data collection flowchart in the chat. Starting from the top, we have basic client information and demographic information. These will be required for all care respondents that flow through county behavioral health, regardless of whether they end up receiving county behavioral health services. Once the court has made a determination about the disposition of each care petition, county behavioral health will be asked to report on the care status at the individual level. The care status data point includes multiple value codes to choose from, including the care process initiation period, dismissed options, which includes elective client, active care agreement, active care plan, terminated, and graduated. A client's care status can and likely will change over time. Each potential care status is shown in the flowchart. You can see if additional data collection and reporting will be required depending on which care status is chosen. You will see that not all data points are going to be required for all clients. Next, I'd like to pass it to Cha to do the SurveyMonkey demo.
Thank you, Chris. Now, with that context, we will provide a live demo of the SurveyMonkey platform. Next, please. Before we jump into the SurveyMonkey for the Care Ad survey, we have provided a link and password to the test survey, which Samantha has dropped it in the chat. We encourage you to follow along with the demo on your own browser. Please use the link and password provided. The link we have listed here, and we also put it in the chat. When you basically navigate to the page from the link, it will basically ask for a password. The monthly survey link is always going to be password protected. Only county staff who are responsible for data entry will have access to the link and the password. The password to access the SurveyMonkey for today's demo, it is all capital. So it is Care 2024 with the exclamation mark. Once you get to the welcome page, you please hold there. Yeah, and then once I start doing the demo, you can go along, and then you can see how it works. Next, please. We think it will be very helpful to review the key takeaway from the demo before we begin. Please keep this in mind as we review the tool. Demographic and basic client information are required every reporting month. The current care status data point is crucial every reporting month because based on how you answer that, it is going to determine the reporting of subsequent required data point. And that data point going to be 3.3.10. The data flow chart is basically a guide to data collection and data reporting for county behavioral health agency. It lists all the required data point based on the care status, including the branching data points. Now we are going to basically move into a live demo of the SurveyMonkey tool. We are going to demo one of the shorter route through the survey, which is a situation in which a care respondent is in the initiation phase. This portion of the training, basically, it is intended to show how SurveyMonkey tool work in general, and it is not about getting into specific data point, basically. Yeah. So from here, I'm gonna basically jump to the SurveyMonkey, and then I'm gonna show you guys how it works. So let me share my screen. Okay. Chris, are you able to see it?
Yes, I can.
Yep. So when you use the link, right? First, it's gonna be asking you for a password. Only authorized user will have the link and the password. Only those with the password can enter data for the client. Yeah. So I enter the password, and then I'm gonna click submit password. Once you submit the password, it's gonna take you directly to the survey. First, it's gonna basically do a quick intro. Yeah. It is important that you read through it, making sure you understand it and feel comfortable before reporting data for a specific client. We also list our like request form down here. If you have any question, feel free to submit a question to us, and one of our data team will get back to you. Yep. So once you read through the information and you feel comfortable, you can click next. On SurveyMonkey, every time when you click next, it is gonna save your information. And if you want to go back, you can just click preview. Yeah. If you don't click next and after you fill it out, right, and you exit from it, technically it doesn't save your information. Yeah. After the intro page, it is gonna be taking you to the first data point, which is what reporting month. This data point, it is a timestamp for us on the back end, so we know which reporting month you are reporting data to. Yeah. And as you can see, there is an extract right here. It means that the data point is required. We also have the additional specification. We put it in rec text in SurveyMonkey. On the data dictionary, we put it at the bottom under the additional specification section. Yeah. It is very important for county to read through it before reporting the data point. That way you can report it correctly. So for this data point, right, it is saying that if you report data for a specific reporting month, make sure you use the last day of that reporting month. So for example, if we are reporting data for January 2024, right? Yeah. And the additional specification say to use the last day. So we're going to use the 31st. Yeah, January 31st, 2024. And once you provide that, you can click next, and it is going to save the answer. From the flowchart that Chris showed earlier and from the master flowchart, it is going to list all the required data point. And as you can see on the flowchart, it is going to be basic client information and then demographic. After that, you're going to be asking for care status, and from that, it's going to show you like different pathway with the required data point. Basic client information is always required because we need to be able to link back the client either to existing record or to like medical data, or to make sure that this is a new client. Yeah, so we're always asking for basic client information. Basic client information, we have data point 3.3.1 all the way to 3.3.9. Yep. And then when you get to this page, you can basically fill it out for the client. And in our case right here, we're gonna use one client who are who is at the initiation phase, and her name is Meng Wang, and we just use her as an example. So let's say that she is from Glenn County. So we're gonna select the county for her, and then we're gonna enter the name for our client. For language detail, make sure that the basic client information, make sure that everything is consistent. Even for the name, if you put like the first time when you report it, you only use first name, but later on, if you end up adding middle initial or you end up adding an extra space in there, we're gonna coming back to you and asking you to fix it. Yeah. So making sure that everything always consistent, including date of birth. Sometimes some county might report a different date of birth, and it is not consistent, so we'll be going back. Yeah. And let's assume she was born in the year 2020 and January 15. So she's about 20. Social Security, we're using her as an example. We don't have it, so we're gonna enter 9999 for her. Same thing for petition number. It's gonna be 9. And petition date file, let's assume that it is January 1st, 2024. And then the county actually being ordered to investigate 1 week later. So let's assume it is like January 10, 2024. Yeah. And then who actually filed original petition. So let's assume that it is a person who lived with the respondent. So that will be the last data point. Yeah. So 3.3.1 all the way to 3.3.9, those are all the basic client information, and everything needs to be consistent. So that way we can link back the client. Yeah. Once you finish, you can move on to the next set of data point, and you can just click next down here. And on the flowchart, it is going to be what demographic information. Specifically for county who choose to use SurveyMonkey, we allow this option only for county who use SurveyMonkey. For county to skip the demographic information if the client actually an existing client and there is nothing changed, right, for that client. That means that you don't need to do any update on the demographic information. Yeah, so you can skip it. But if the client is new or the existing client has some updated demographic information, you need to basically update the demographic section. For main one, let's assume that we already have her information for the previous month, and we don't have any updated demographic information, so we can select no right here. Yeah. When I select no right here, it is going to skip the demographic information section directly. And from the flow chart, you can see that, all right, next going to be the care status. So 3.3.10. The additional specification, it is very, very important for county to understand. So we put it first here. Yeah. So make sure that you read through the additional specification, so that way you know exactly what will be coming up. On here, we also tell county that if there is a change of care status within the same month, you're supposed to be filling out the survey twice. Yeah, so we have that information in here as well. Once you go through the detail and then you feel comfortable, then you can click next to report the care status. Yeah. So the care status is going to be 3.3.10, and this one is very important. Based on how you select the current care status, it is going to determine what will be required for that specific client. And earlier we mentioned that we're going to choose one of the shorter route. So we're going to do care process initiation period. Yeah. So we say, all right, main one actually at the care process initiation period. So we're going to select that, and then we can click next. From the flow chart, you can see that right next is going to be housing status. It is going to be skipping support and services. Yeah. So first you're going to skip support and services. It is going to be going directly to housing status. Yeah. Before going to the housing data, housing status data point, we actually first we give some brief information about where about which statute number it is coming from, just a brief information. And then once you read that, you can click next. And then it is going to be taking you to the housing data point. So 3.6.1 asking about living situation. And then 3.6.2 asking about type of housing support. Yeah. So you will provide an answer to it. Yeah. So everything on SurveyMonkey, it is built using that flowchart, and it is flow exactly like that flowchart. Yeah. So just follow that flowchart, or you can after you select the care status, you can just follow the branching logic from SurveyMonkey. Yeah. And our demo today is not basically to go through the whole survey. It is just to show how it's supposed to work. Yeah. So once you follow the flow from SurveyMonkey and you get to the end, and then you finish, right? It is gonna lead you to a closing page, and it will say that thank you for completing the survey. And we also list our request form down here again. And if you have any question, feel free to submit a question back to us. And if you have other client to report data to, you can click done and then re-enter the password and then fill out the survey again. Or if you have a second care status to report for a specific client, you can do the same. Yeah. And with that, I would like to pass it back to Chris. And that will be the end of the SurveyMonkey demo. Yeah.
There was one question I don't know if we addressed. For small counties who might not have any care clients in a given month, how should the monthly report be completed? It does not appear there was an option for this situation.
Yep. We it will be very similar like the first cohort. Reach back out to us and then let us know so we can put that under our tracker. Yeah. Just email the care team and then we can put that on our tracker that for this reporting quarter we do not expect any data coming in.
Okay, so the answer is there's not an option to enter it, but they should email the data team and you all will make a note, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
we have a tracker, so we can put that in there, yeah.
Thank you, Cha. So next, we will look at the data file template options A and B and then demonstrate how to access MOVEit and where to upload your data. We are going to move into the MOVEit file transfer application. Only authorized users will be able to access MOVEit to submit data and download the resources stored there. Almost all counties have submitted user requests and DHCS is working diligently to process them. If you are not aware of who has submitted for authorized users on behalf of your county, you are welcome to chat Carly, who can check the back end of the form, or feel free to take this back as a homework assignment. If you would like to submit to be an authorized user of MOVEit, please use the form that was dropped in the chat. Many counties have submitted user requests that have been granted. If you have been granted MOVEit access and are having issues logging in or accessing the necessary folders, please email itservicedesk@dhcs.ca.gov. Next slide, please. Counties will pre-identify designated users within their county who will be using MOVEit and use the CARE Act MOVEit file transfer application access form to request MOVEit access for these users. Authorized county users will receive an invitation for the MOVEit file transfer application. Only authorized users may perform bulk file uploads of care participant data using the MOVEit file transfer application. This email invite will come from Microsoft Invitations on behalf of California Department of Healthcare Services with the subject line, someone's name, Cloud Global Admin, invited you to access applications within their organization. DHCS may modify these messages in the future. Do not ignore this email and please respond back to get access to the folder. Please let us know if you are having any trouble getting access. Once you have received the email, you will want to register your account. If the authorized users have not registered with DHCS before, they will be asked to register with a Microsoft Outlook account. Most authorized users should already have a Microsoft Outlook account, and if not, they will be asked to create one. For any new user requests or changes to the authorized users, please use the CARE Act MOVEit file transfer application access form to submit a request. Once you receive your invitation or access, if you cannot see your folders or have additional issues, please contact DHCS Help Desk at the email provided or use the phone number. They are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. You can also contact the DHCS care team to get help with the MOVEit issues. Next slide, please. Next, we'll be switching to a live demo of the data file template options A and B and MOVEit. During this portion, we will visually display each data file template option, summary data sheet, and necessary data points. We will demonstrate how to upload data via the MOVEit file transfer application. We will discuss the resource folder and the available data file template options, the QA protocol, the SQL code, and the SQL code for QA. Then we will explain the next steps and expectations after uploading the data. Now I will share my screen and we will go over the different options for uploading data. Cha, are you able to see option A on my screen?
Yep, I can, yep.
Awesome, thank you. So here I wanted to show you what the different options look like so that you'll understand what you are working with when you're going to enter data. Here at the bottom of the workbook, you'll see several sheets. we have our welcome sheet, and this gives the instructions and the necessary data points that you'll be working with. Then we have our care data elements, the data dictionary, a history log with versions, and summary data. So this sheet is very important. We use this sheet on the back end to make sure that we account for every client. So it's very important that counties use this sheet after they're done reporting. I also want to note that it doesn't matter which template you use. You can use either A or B. You don't have to use both. Just choose whatever one works best for you. Next, the correlating sheets all correlate to the current care status. So we have our care process initiation period, dismissed, elective client, active care agreement, active care plan, terminated, and graduated. For this example, I wanted to show you the care process initiation period. You'll see when you open up the sheet or the other correlating sheets also, all columns A through BM are the same for all clients. So this, or for all care statuses. So this just collects our demographic data and other important data points. Again, these templates are color coded. So blue indicates the necessary data point, and orange will also indicate a necessary data point. When you input data into a blue cell, it may trigger an orange cell. So I'll show you what that looks like now. For this example, we're going to use 3.4.2. What is the client's race? And we're asking if they're Alaskan Native or American Indian. If we input data in the cell, the cells BL through BM will turn orange. I've hidden cells here so that I wasn't scrolling and making you guys sick. Here in column BN, the same for all sheets, will indicate the care status. Again, you'll see that the following cells will turn blue if it's a necessary data point. If you enter data into a blue cell, it may trigger an orange data point. So just be mindful when you're going through to make sure that all the data points are filled in. It's also important to note that all counties must report on all clients, even if you didn't have contact with them. Next, we'll move over to template B, now that we've seen template A. So similarly, we have our welcome sheet, the care data elements, data dictionary, the history log, and the summary data. So template B includes all of the care statuses within one sheet. And this makes it a little bit easier on the back end. If you're wanting to automate the process, you can enter data into these cells, comma delimited. So for example, we're going to use column L to enter race. So in here, you can enter as many options as applicable. So for example, we'll enter 1, 2, and if we enter other, then that will trigger this data point. Likewise, if we enter a 5 in here, which indicates the Alaskan Native, then that will trigger O and P, where you'll have to type in the tribal affiliation or tribal services. Now that we understand what the templates look like and what you can expect when using them, I will next share my screen to go over how to access MOVEit. Give me 2 seconds. Cha, are you able to see my apps dashboard?
Yep, I can.
Awesome, thank you. All right, when you log in, you'll be able to see your apps. When you click on the file transfer application, it will open a new window. On the left-hand side, you will see your home, folders, and logs. You'll want to click on folders. Within this folder, you'll see Home and DHCS CARE Act. When you click on DHCS CARE Act, what I see is different. You should be able to see the county that you represent along with a resources folder. The resources folder, as previously mentioned, has our templates and then the QA protocol. So you can come here to download the templates if you would like to use those. And you can also view our QA process. Also within each of the county folders, there are year folders all the way to 2027, I believe. Within each of the year folders are quarter folders, and that's where you will upload your data. You will also be able to find your QA reports in the same folders when we send those out, and then you will also resubmit data in the same quarterly folder. So it's all in the same spot. And then once you are done submitting data or have resubmitted data, please be sure to email the CARE Act data team so that Cha and I are able to tell when you've resubmitted data. And then next, Carly, if you can share your screen again, and then I'll finish us off. Thank you. Get organized for a minute. All right, so here we have summarized the differences between data file template option A and B. Data file template option A mirrors what was created, the Excel data extract from SurveyMonkey. Due to the limited functionalities of SurveyMonkey, the associated data file template results in a very wide format. The multi-select data options are separated into their own columns, and the HMA data team structured the CARE Act data file template according to the CARE Act status, so you will have several sheets to make it more intuitive for reporting the CARE Act data. In response to requests from Cohort 1 counties to support a more automated data process, data file template B was created, and that's where we created the single sheet that includes all care statuses, and we allowed multi-select data value options to be delimited by commas. Next slide, please. This slide shows you an example. So similarly to what we just went through in the demo, we use data element 3.4.2, the client's race, as an example. Client's race allows for multiple selections, meaning it's a check all that apply. If you refer to the CARE Act data dictionary, you will see white is equal to value code 1 and Hispanic is equal to value code 2 and so forth. Example data is entered on the slide for a respondent that identifies as both white and Hispanic. So in data file template option A, you will enter 1 in the first column for white and 2 in the second column for Hispanic. You will leave the rest of the cells to this question blank. In data file template option B, you are able to enter all the applicable value code options for race separated by a comma. So you will enter 1, 2. Next slide, please. Here, we wanted to show you how the counties can report the reason data points on template option B. We are using mental health treatment services as an example. When a support or service is listed on the care plan or agreement, but not provided to the client in the reporting month, counties are required to provide a reason for that support or service not being offered. If there are multiple supports and services not provided, each of them will require a reason for non-offering. On data point 3.5.3, it asks for the mental health treatment services and care agreement or plan not provided. It has 3 mental health treatment services and care agreement or plan that are not provided. 1, adult crisis residential services, 5 day rehabilitative, half day and full day, and 7 intensive care coordination. There are multiple mental health treatment services. That means counties are required to provide a reason for each of those listed above. On template B, we want the counties to provide each reason separated by a comma for data point 3.5.4. As counties can see on data point 3.5.4, there are 3 reasons. 2 means the client declined, and that's 1 reason for the adult crisis residential services not provided. Then we have 99903, which means other, and this is the reason for the day rehabilitative, half day and full day, and that's why that was not provided. And then we have our 99903 again, and this is the reason that the intensive care coordination was not provided. We also want counties to specify the 99903 code further in the following columns separated by a comma. Next, I will pass it over to Cha again to do our QA process overview.
Thank you, Chris. Now we will move on to an overview of the quality assurance process. Again, as a quick recap, the county data file template options, care quality assurance protocol, and SQL query for QA will be in the resource folder within the MOVEit file transfer application for all authorized users. The SQL query basically, at the moment, it's not available yet, but when it is, authorized user can get the query file from the resources folder. Next. As mentioned earlier in the presentation, county will submit data quarterly in monthly batches. When submitting, we ask that county please use the following file naming conventions. For initial submission, we want basically the name of the county underscore month year, where month gonna be correspond to the reporting month, and year gonna be correspond to the reporting year. County name with a space can basically choose to include a space or not. If county have to resubmit the data back to DSCS, we want the resubmission file to basically name the name of the county, month and year of the reporting month, resubmission, and then date of the resubmission. Yeah. So please use those naming convention. For county who are submitting data through SurveyMonkey, basically, they will be doing the correction through MOVEit. So what's gonna happen is that we give back the data to the county using MOVEit. The county can download the data and then make correction. And after that, they can use the resubmission naming convention to rename the file and then upload it back to us. Yeah. And if you have additional care client that you want to report, but then you forgot, right? And you want us to reopen the SurveyMonkey link, just email us and then we can also do that too. Next, please. For quality assurance or QA, we follow the CART dimension that have been used by DSCS for the managed care plan. These are industry standard QA dimension. So for us at HMA, we will look for completeness, accuracy, reasonability, and timeliness for submitted data. And as a note, CART dimension will be applied to all submitted data, whether you are using SurveyMonkey or MOVEit file transfer application. Next, please. HMA has a quality assurance checklist with 13 elements. The QA checklist follows the CART metrics. Authorized user will be able to download the QA report per monthly data file from MOVEit, which basically summarize their county result and tell them if the monthly data file pass all 13 elements. The monthly data file must pass all 13 elements. Any deficiency must be resubmitted within 15 days of receiving the report. Next, please. The QA report will be dropped into the MOVEit file transfer application for authorized user to download and review. the HMA team will send out an email to let all authorized users know that their QA report are ready for review. Regardless how the data is submitted using template option A, template option B, or SurveyMonkey, the QA report will look exactly the same. When authorized user open a QA report for a reporting month, they will see an Excel document with basically tab, including the summary tab, the history log tab, QA checklist tab, Excel as what, tab A to tab G. The summary tab include like the overall status of the submitted data. Either it is accepted or either like it's a correction is needed, right? So if it is saying that the file is accepted, that means that right, everything is good to go. Nothing else like for the county to like do. If it's a correction is needed, that means that there are issues in the data, and county must basically correct those issues and then resubmit the data back to DSCS. Next, please. Here are all the 13 elements based on the cut metrics. We will tell county which element failed and which element passed. Tab A to tab G will list all the detail at the individual level for the failed elements. As an example, for the accuracy dimension, as you can see in the graph, in the picture, you will see that part of the QA process include class validating county and JC data. From the previous two data submission, we have seen inconsistent between JC and county on the total number of killer agreement. We want to clarify and remind county that they should not count killer agreement until those killer agreement has been approved by the court. Yeah, basically. Next, please. For each key status from tab A to tab G, the HMA team will validate each data point. So how do we do the validation check on each data point? First, we're gonna basically do a completeness or missing data check. Next, we're gonna do an accuracy or validity data check. And third, we look at that data point and compare with other information from the data to see if it makes sense. Yeah. The table shown on the right it is actually a tab from tab B. We will go through each of these like data point. When a data point has no deficiency quality issue, it will receive a pass. To a county in their own QA, the HMA team plan to provide the SQL query that we use to do the QA, like for county, so that way they can use it to like do their own QA before submitting the data back to DSCS. Yeah. Next, please. As we previously mentioned, county will receive a QA report per monthly data file within 45 business day of the initial submission date. County are expected to correct all data issue outlined in the QA report included in tab A to tab G. The provided detail will be at the client level. Once county receive the QA report, they have 15 business days to correct the issue and then resubmit the data back to DSCS. Resubmitted data file will basically use the naming convention that we mentioned earlier, and it will be uploaded to MOVEit using the same location of the initial data submission. Yeah, so it will be at the same location. And then with that, I would like to pass to Serene for Q&A.
Great. Thank you so much, Cha and Carice, for this really thorough overview. We have been monitoring lots of really good questions coming up through the chats. So what I'm going to do now in the remaining time is to try to go through some of these questions that have come up. So starting at the top, I know Rudy had a question about MOVEit versions, and I wonder if you could explain what you're seeing, because I'm not sure I'm tracking your question correctly. So Rudy, if you are...
Hi, Rudy Chavez from Contra Costa County. The question really stems from challenges we've had in the past with the CSI submission process, which also uses a version of MOVEit. I don't know if it's the same version, but our DBA team, for example, would like to be able to access the files. Say we submit a file Perhaps you can do a put using a secure FTP of that file in the template that you specify. And then when you do the response, we could then download that file in an automated fashion without having to try to coordinate with like an IT operations group that can do that overnight or something. That's really kind of the gist of the question.
Charles, Carice, could you respond to that? Because I think it works differently for the CARE Act, but I just want to defer to my team to respond to that.
I think it is a question that we need to ask Nihan, and at the moment, I will likely say no, because it is going to require DSCS to open up their like portal, in order to do that. Yeah, so it is a question for Mihan. Yeah, and I think let's talk to Mihan first, and then we can get back to answering this question. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Thank you. Thanks so much, Rudy. We'll circle back with DHCS IT. And I think the second question came from Alexis. Oh, I just saw that you figured it out. Would you mind actually asking your question, Alexis? Because I'm not quite sure I followed it. Go ahead.
Sorry, my mic was in the wrong spot. Thank you. So I was just looking at the different fields in template A or option A. And I remember seeing an IPU one and I'm trying to locate it now, but it's more of a yes, no, not a date. So my question was stemming from like the date portion, like if there was a date and there's multiple IPU admissions in that month, like would we report it, the latest one, the earliest one, or all of them? But I don't see a date one, so I tracked my question.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, if that comes up again, yeah, it sounds like it's all right, thank you. So, and I think the next question was from Mia, and I wanted to make sure that we followed Mia's question. Mia, you had actually a series of questions, I believe. I think you had a question was, is this our new process going forward for reporting? So just wanted to make sure that we cleared up any confusion about a new process. It sounds like, you all are used to reporting to the state via different mechanisms. This training and what we're focused on today is specific to the CARE Act data submission. So just wanted to give you space in case there were any other clarifications that you were hoping for.
So my question was, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I didn't know if this was like state bar reporting that is supposed to be reported quarterly, or if this was a different type of reporting.
Gotcha. So this webinar here is focused only on county reporting responsibilities for the CARE Act. So, State Bar has its own set of reporting that are the responsibility of other entities. So for this training, we're really talking only about what county behavioral health is required to report based on the CARE Act.
Oh, behavioral health. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, county behavioral health. So this is only for county behavioral health. The CARE courts have a different process. I know Amanda did drop in the chat someplace above. The CARE courts have a different process. They report their data directly to the Judicial Council. The Judicial Council then uploads aggregate data to DHCS. Hopefully that clarifies.
And the public defenders also have a different reporting process for the CARE Act through Legal Services Trust Fund Commission. So if you have additional questions related to that, we can provide you a contact.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that clarification.
No worries. Lots of data. Totally understand. And I think Garth had a question as well. So Garth, you had a question related to the client status. Char and Carice, I'm looking for the question right now.
Yeah, I was just asking, let's say if in the reporting month their status changes and we have to resubmit, does that mean we're resubmitting for 9 other clients that are on the spreadsheet as well, even though their data hasn't changed at all? Let's say there's 10 people that month we're reporting on. One person changed in the middle of the month. We have the one done for the month. Do we create a second one because the status changed? Or do we have the same client on two different rows with the old status and the new status. I'm just trying to figure out how that works on the rows.
Yep.
Can you take that?
So Garth, it depends on which template you are using. So if you are using the second template, so template option B, then yeah. So technically gonna be two rows of the same client. The first row gonna be like what the old status, and then the second row gonna be the new status. On template option B, option A, we separate out the care status into different tabs. Yeah. So technically, if a client changed from initiation to active care agreement, yeah. So if that's the case, on the active care agreement, you just put the data there, just specifically for that only client. Yeah.
Great. So let's say on option A, then that name could be popping up on both
Correct.
statuses then for agreement versus plan, whatever.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And then I see a question coming in from Rebecca about data. Rebecca, do you mind
I
asking?
think she was asking if, how she would determine if she is also responsible for the CARE Act reporting data, that she provides some additional support to the Solano County. We're happy to put you in contact with our Solano County leads, but each county has their own responsible individuals that get assigned to be responsible for CARE Act data collection reporting. And sometimes that is a third-party vendor that they have contracted with, but we are not part of the assignment of who within the county is responsible for it, but can definitely put you in touch with the right contacts to clarify your question with them directly.
Thank you. That was exactly my question.
Okay, great. Thanks, Amanda, for catching that. Appreciate it. Any other questions before I know we have 3 minutes left. I would say, we're going to be wrapping up. So if you have any other questions, please do feel free to shoot us an inquiry. Alternatively, we also have open office hours bi-weekly on Wednesdays. Amanda, I believe, will be walking us through the available resources and how you can get in touch with us. So I'm going to turn it over to Amanda to wrap up. Thank you, everyone.
And there is another question in the chat that we might be able to get to before we hang up, but just briefly wanted to just remind individuals on the call, we do have a lot of CARE Act data collection and reporting resources. You will receive a copy of this deck. Each one of these has a hyperlink to the different resources. We have a data collection and reporting specific site within our CARE Act Resource Center website that houses all the information and resources and previous trainings all on one page. And we also have a series of data collection FAQs that we do encourage you to check out. The CARE data lessons learned, these were questions that and lessons learned Cohort 1 counties provided. And we had a data affinity group panel back in May that had presented on this. And we had a lot of Cohort 2 data team members ask for a summary of those documents. We emailed those to our data team listserv. So if you did not get a copy of that, we encourage you to join our listserv so that you receive this information, and B, you can also email the CARE data team and we'll send you a copy of that resource as well as recording to that data affinity group panel discussion that was held in May. We also wanted to flag that we are still hosting biweekly office hours, and Carly's going to be dropping in those registration links. So if you have not attended, one is tomorrow, so you can attend that for any follow-up questions. They're very informal. Some people just join to listen to other questions counties have. Sometimes we have Cohort 1 representatives that are needing additional clarification and are very helpful to the Cohort 2 counties. And sometimes people just drop in, ask their question, and drop off. So very informal, and we do encourage you to participate in those office hours. So with that, Serene, if you have time, I'm happy for you to answer those remaining questions.
Yep, I believe there's one question. Charges actually took it. There was a question about SurveyMonkey and how to manage corrections. So if you have submitted your data, you can. So Charles, you want to take that? Go ahead.
Yep. So we have a deadline for data submission. Yeah. So for those who are using SurveyMonkey, if you enter data for a client and then you want to basically update on some of the data point, we are happy to basically allow you to submit a new survey for that specific client. And on our end, we can just delete the first record. Yeah, you can do that. And after the deadline, right, you already submit everything back to us, and it is already past the deadline, and we already generate the QA report. For you to make correction, technically you are going to use the raw data that we uploaded for you. Yeah. So for all county who are using SurveyMonkey, we're gonna upload your raw data back to you, and then you're gonna make correction on those clients that you need to update the information. Yeah.
Yeah, Charles, so do we want counties to let us know if they're submitting a new survey that will overwrite what they already submitted?
Oh,
Do
sorry,
they email, or how does that work?
I have a code on the back end to basically check for client who been reported twice. So if I see any of that from SurveyMonkey, I delete the first record automatically.
Okay, right.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're right up, actually just past the hour. Appreciate everyone joining, and hopefully that addressed the questions, but if not, office hours tomorrow's welcome questions and participation. Thanks so much.